Good morning. Oh, brother, why is. You know, I'm wondering should I contact someone about this phone because there's no reason for this phone to be acting like this. It's only about 6 months. That is the earlier part of that. Well, I don't know exactly when I got it. I have to look on Amazon because I ordered it from Amazon. Uh, well, anyway, I just got on here briefly this Monday morning. I was going to get on here yesterday, but then I changed my mind. I was just so tired, and I was on the phone quite a bit for quite a long time yesterday and afternoon. But my brother called me yesterday afternoon. You know, the one he lives in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, and he called me to let me know that our brother had passed away. I it was like a brick or something hit me in my chest, you know. I I still don't know what to say about this, but I figure I'm going to say something because of what happened in the family with my brother. I actually have not seen my brother in 48 years, which means I was only in my 20s. Let's see, no, what, no. Was I in my 20s, my 30s? 50 years ago, it would have been 24. Yeah, I was in my 20s. Because three of my children, he had never, ever even seen my last three children. And I think the last time I talked to him was about 20 years ago, maybe 18 or 20 years ago. And he had called me up and asked me if I could loan him $20. No, he asked me, can I loan him $30? And I told him, I said, maybe I could loan you 20. I forgot exactly how that thing was, but I did. I sent it to him and I loaned him some money. It had to be more than 20 years ago because he spent some time in the jail, in the prison. And so, but this was before he even went to the prison. Because he was living in Detroit for a many years. As a matter of fact, he's got his children living here. Most of his family, most of our family, should I say, lived here in Connecticut because we migrated, I guess. That's the word. We came up here from North Carolina in 1960. I was just 14 years old at the time. And I think he came the year before we did. He's like 4 years older than me. And he came up here, I think no, maybe it was the same year, but the earlier part, he came up here the earlier part of the year before we got here. He came up here like in the beginning of maybe the spring or something, and we didn't get here until like, I know it was time for me to go to school, and I didn't want to go to school because I didn't know a soul in the school. Can you imagine that? You 14 years old, you don't know a single person in this school, and you gotta go there, you gotta try and make friends, you're scared to death, well, this is not what I'm supposed to be talking about, but I done went off on a whole lot of other stuff now. But I was supposed to be talking about my brother, whom I hadn't seen in over 48 years, that I found out I just had passed yesterday. And my brother had, he called me to tell me that. And prior to that, he had just gotten released from the prison was it earlier this year or was it last year? I'm getting my years all mixed up. But the main thing point that I was gonna say is, um, don't stay away from your family so long. If you can see your family once or even 5 years, keep in touch. See, my camera's acting crazy again, y'all. But you need to keep in touch with someone, which he did. He kept in touch with my brother, that's down there in Cleveland. But he didn't even get in touch with my mother. And my mother passed 7 years ago. And I forgot how many years it had been since she had seen him. And he didn't get in touch with her. And it seemed that for the most part, when he needed something, this is when he could contact, someone. Which, I mean, I appreciate the fact that he contacted and let me know that he needed something. And I think that most people don't realize just how important family is. I mean, you have friends. Friends are important also. But family, it's a different kind of importance. When you get into trouble, you can call, usually you can call your mama, or if you know your daddy number, look at this phone. I don't know. I am completely devastated. Now it's black. Let me put it up here. Oh, when I was putting it. I don't know what's wrong with this phone, y'all. But I know one thing, I'm going to call somebody and see what's going on, because I still should have my warranty. Whoop. Got cornflakes on my mouth. Yes, I had some frosted flakes this morning. Uh-oh. I don't. Oh, my goodness. I don't get it. Well, I've lost my train of thought now. I knew I was talking about my brother, and I was talking about family, how important, that you should keep in touch with someone, because to me, it seems that he followed a pattern that our own dad followed. He's following the pattern that his dad followed, because it's devastating to me, even in my childhood, that I hadn't seen my dad until since I was 5 years old, around 5, 6, something like that. And we don't know what happened to my dad. And when we finally found out what had happened to him, it was as if it was a person really that I didn't know, because me and my sister, we were planning to go. When they found him, he was in Jenkinsburg, Georgia. And we believed that he was held like a slave or something like that. But we're not sure what happened to him, because we hadn't seen or heard from him in all those years, up until the time that when he was about to expire. He was in a hospital. Matter of fact, they had found him in back of what was it called, a supermarket or something, and he was sleeping in his car, I guess. It's a sad story, but sad but true. And when when they found him, I think they put him in he was so sick. He was sick at the time, I guess, when they found him. They said he had a lot of scars on his body, and that half of his foot was cut off. Something like Kunta Kinte. Now, I associate something like that with being in captivity and slavery. Way back in the day, because way back here, this was like in the 50s. This is the last time that I actually laid eyes on my dad, was in the 50s, except for that picture that they had sent my sister of him when he was in that convalescent home. And he didn't even realize how many children he had had. He said he had had he said he had had 5 children born between 1941 and 1946, which 1946 would have been me. I'm the baby girl. And 1941 is my oldest brother. He was born in 1941. And he said he had one named Frank and one named David. But he didn't remember our names. But he did remember having us, that we were his children. And like I said, if you can call someone, let someone know what's going on in your life, how you're doing, okay. Uh, say something, because to this very day, it's devastating not to know what happened to your dad and stuff like that. And what had happened, my sister and I had planned to go down to Jenkinsburg, Georgia. And my husband at the time had planned to, I was married at the time. And he was willing to drive us down there. But I was a little scared because, this is in the 70s. And I'm thinking, oh my God, suppose we lose our way and get lost and something happened to us down there in Georgia, Jenkinsburg, Georgia, place I never even heard of um, until my dad was in there. But my brother, like I said, he was in Detroit, and he would call me ever so often at first. And even when he had first went to the prison, I used to write him letters. I sent him pictures of myself, and I think there was a picture of his daughter, one of his daughters, and my daughter and my granddaughter were all on the same picture. And I had sent that picture to him, like a copy that I downloaded from the computer that, I had taken it from in my stash of photos I got online of, my family and stuff. And after a while, he wrote me a letter, told me don't write him no more because people, I don't know. I think he was sort of like losing it. You know what I mean? Because he was thinking like somebody was after him or something. But anyway, they released him, and I don't know where he went after that. After he was released from the prison, I think it was last year or this year. I can't remember which. Um, my brother even lost contact with him at that point. And as a matter of fact, my brother was told me no longer than yesterday that he had been in the hospice, and I always think of hospice. When you go to hospice and you expire at hospice, that you had cancer. But we don't know that for a fact. As a matter of fact, one of his own sons had passed away earlier this year. And I don't even know if he knew that. But, it's like he cut all ties with his family. The people that cared for him the most. That he cut the ties and the strings or something with us. And not as far as I know now, that nobody has ever done anything to him, so terrible that he would cut the ties. Ties. Um, all families have problems, disputes, break up and get angry with each other. But they don't stay away from each other no 50 years or 40 years and all that. Especially your mother. Your mother worries, about you. She wants to know what you're doing, how you're getting along. All you gotta do is pick up the phone and say, "Hi, Mom, just call you, say, how you doing, bye." Something like that. If you don't want to have the long, drawn-out conversation, just call Mom, say, "Mom, how you doing today? Is everything all right?" "Yep, everything's all right, son." "Well, Mom, I don't have much time. I gotta go. Talk to you the next time." "Okay, glad you called. Bye." It could be as simple as that. Or if you want to have a conversation, Mom, 95% of the time, Mom going to do most of the talking anyway. She got a lot of questions to ask you. You probably going to get upset because she's asking you all these questions, blah, blah. It's only because she cares about you. Well, y'all, I'm still feeling a little devastated over the shock. As a matter of fact, about 2 or 3 days ago, I just found out a girlfriend of mine, I consider her one of my best high school girlfriends, that she had passed away also. And how I found out that she had passed away, her husband had passed away, because they had moved up to Hartford. And so and the last time I had seen her, maybe 20 years, 30 years ago. No, couldn't have been that long ago. Maybe 20 years ago. And they had moved up to Hartford because I think she was losing her sight, and they had a like a school up there for people that were losing their sight. But she was an ordained minister, and her husband also was an ordained minister. And when I saw his obituary in the, how you look up online, that's how I don't know how I missed it. How I missed the fact that she had passed away. But like I said, it was in Hartford, and they have different funeral homes up there than they have here. And her husband name popped up, in the funeral home here. And I looked at him because I hadn't seen him in a while. I said, is that him or is it not? Because I recognized the name right away, his name. And I said, is that him? And so I started to reading, the obituary. And lo and behold, it was him. And it says, it gave his wife's name. And when she had, up till last year, they had been married like 40 years. And, that was devastating for me. And I couldn't find her obituary anywhere local, like I did his. His was in the local thing. I guess he hadn't moved back, or some of his family, because he lived here, they probably, had his name in there, because this is where he was born, right here where I am. We all went to school together. And so how I got to read hers and to, confirm in my own mind. My mind had to be confirmed that this is really her. I'm still not convinced, this is her, even after reading her. No, I'm not like, no, couldn't be last year. I don't know, my friend has gone on to be with the Lord. But, we weren't in touch like that. But, I still consider she's my friend. Nevertheless, I don't care if I see her 10 years from now. It's a big hug, a big, glad to see you thing. You know, that kind of friend. A friend that just, it's just there. That's that friend. Oh, I was devastated to hear that. And then one of my cousin's sons, he had expired. And oh, brother, it's just been devastating. And then my brother, it's even more devastating right now. But anyway, getting back to my brother, my brother, the one that's in Cleveland, Ohio, he said the convalescent had, well, not the convalescent, it might have been a convalescent home. It was hospice, so I guess that's a convalescent home also. Well, convalescent, I think this is where you found your last days when you're in hospice. I think that's about what it is. But anyway, he had been, gone on for a couple of weeks. And they said he didn't have no way of knowing who his next of kin, or had no one to contact him, you know. And then my brother says, they said they found his telephone number. Now that, I'm going to call my brother back today, later on today. He's got to call them today, call somebody today too, because he has not had a funeral or anything yet. He's been out there in the funeral home for, I think my brother said 2 weeks. Because they couldn't find nobody to contact. But what I can't understand is, why are you able to contact my brother now, but you couldn't contact my brother two weeks ago? Maybe it's because of COVID. I don't know. I really don't know. But I guess he's going to get some answers today when he calls. Well, it's early in the morning, y'all, and I just had to get up here and say that. And I'm going to keep you posted about what happened. It's now about 6:50 in the morning, so it probably won't be till this afternoon that I contact my brother to see what the story was. Have a blessed day, y'all. Bye-bye.